at me now. Like, who's that chick that's rockin'?
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sand Hills by a huge margin. It is Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, and don't forget, of course, we are being seen around the world on our live video stream as we speak. That's available to you from the website at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where the link's located that will get the job done for you. If you're on your mobile device, your YouTube app will get the work done for you. Put Mornings with the Leader Man. Leader Man spelled all with one word and sound and like it sounds. And if you're on your mobile device just needing our crystal clear digital audio stream, well, you can get it through many streaming services like TuneIn, iTunes, Streama. Many others will work too, except for iHeartRadio. This is a private company that only airs their radio stations. And you can also get our crystal clear digital stream off the web at our website at talk973.com. Top right-hand corner of every page has an icon that says Listen Live. Tap it once, and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. It's going to be mostly sunny today, 45 for a high, as we brush against this solar vortex. Not solar, but what do they call it? Polar vortex. Getting the grays by it a little bit. We're going to give you some facts about it here pretty soon. Anyway, tonight, mostly clear. That's going to be the cold part of this adventure. It's going to be 19 tonight. Tomorrow, sunny with high of 42. Clear tomorrow night, 24. Friday, it'll be very warm for this time of year. Mostly sunny with a high of 53 for the first day of February. Friday night, mostly clear, low of 32. And Saturday, mostly sunny with a high of 53. Then Sunday, still going to be nice. Partly cloudy with a high pushing 60. 58 degrees, 66 on Monday, and 70 on Tuesday. That doesn't sound like much winter to me. Anyway, right now around the Sand Hills, winds are southwest at 3, visibility 10 statute miles. Humidity 81%, 2.16, pressure's 3012. It's clear, 21 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Let's see. Where was the information I had about the solar vortex? That isn't it. Seemed like if I wanted, I would have had it already in the queue here.
Well, that's Murphy's Law.
Yeah. Now I can't find it amongst all my stuff. We'll stumble through it, but I'd just like to get it off the top. Good news. All right, here it is. USA Today posted a video with the 10 facts about the polar vortex. Like Chicago will be colder than Antarctica. They got a wind chill factor right now of minus 54. That's wind chill, not actual chill. I think their actual number is like minus 25.
Wind chill, actual chill.
Yeah, when you get in those temperatures, do you really feel the difference between minus 25 and minus 50?
Fortunately, I don't know.
Either one is beyond comprehension.
It is.
Anyway, here's some of the... This is kind of interesting, the facts about the polar vortex.
Over the next few days, it's going to be colder in Chicago than Antarctica. The polar vortex isn't anything new. It's actually always there, hovering high above the Arctic region, whipping along at 150 miles per hour. But sometimes, the polar vortex loses its way. It weakens and loses its tight circle. And when this happens, it takes an irregular shape and starts wandering southward. A whopping 250 million people in the continental U.S. will experience freezing temperatures by week's end. And 90 million will have to endure conditions below 0 degrees. Minneapolis is expecting to reach 54 below, and Chicago may plummet to 60 below. At 60 degrees below, any exposed skin will get frostbite in just a few minutes. There's almost no humidity in the air, and snow takes on the consistency of sand.
10 little facts.
I had an interesting phenomenon in my car that I've never seen before. I got in, I started it up, and I got out to scrape the ice off the window. And there was no ice on the window. But I'm looking at the ice. And it had just condensed on the inside of the window from me driving last night. It was cold, so...
You ought to stay out of those neighborhoods.
Yeah, for sure. But I have never had frost on the inside. And then there was a design of frost that looked like a window crack. It wasn't, but it was just a kind of a raised line that went up kind of in a lightning pattern all over the driver's side. I took a picture of it. I'll show you later. Very interesting. A little disconcerting.
Yeah, it's just like I was driving this was during a rainstorm yesterday. Driving to Seven Lakes, and all of a sudden, some smacked my windshield hard. And I thought, oh, God, going to have a big crack. Don't see one yet. I don't know what it was, a pine cone falling a long ways or a tree limb, but something smacked me pretty good.
You ever had ice on the inside of your window?
Nope.
I never have either. And we've been in colder circumstances here than this, but...
Well, our coldest here is -9. I was living in Wake County at the time. It was back in the 70s. And it wasn't the one day shot. This was like a week of it. -5, -2. It was just stayed around a while. Plus it had snowed, so nothing was melting. And fortunately, I had a 4-wheel drive. And I was helping to ferry some people to work. And I go down these little cul-de-sacs to pick them up, and they hop in, and people are there in the street trying to chisel out their car, and I'm going bloop, 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 right up the street, and just, one of those neeny boo-boo moments.
Yeah, in those circumstances, those are called cul-de-sacs.
God. No, he doesn't work here. Okay, well...
Icing me out.
It's cold, so cold out there.
How cold is it, Steve?
That we had to sing a song about it.
Cold, my teeth are chattering. Cold, my bones are rattling. Cold, I can't feel my toes. Cold.
You know it'd be a Beatles song.
I was younger, so much younger than today. I used to love the snow and couldn't wait to go and play. Now those days are gone.
Okay, you've heard one parody song, you've heard another.
We had a listener ask, did Steve just enter the Twilight Zone?
No.
I don't know. You've got a smile on your face that says you may have.
No, didn't. Just trying to keep you out of it. All right, well, let's check the weather forecast right quick.
And now, your Sky Tracker Polar Vortex Triple Doppler AccuWeather X5000 radar with your most complete and up-to-date forecast.
It's going to be friggin' cold.
This has been your Sky Tracker Polar Vortex Triple Doppler AccuWeather X5000 radar.
Mm-hmm. And this just in, due to government shutdown and damage to the economy, 7-layer dips at the Super Bowl. Well, there's going to be an adjustment.
This is breaking news.
This just in. Due to the government shutdown and the damage to the economy, 7-layer dips at Super Bowl parties will now be 5 layers.
This has been breaking news.
All right. And with all the news about the wall...
What was the damage to the economy?
Well, it's here's the thing. They're sitting there, people weren't spending money and putting money in the economy and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they weren't at that moment. But what happens is you get what's called pent-up demand. And demand's still there for what they needed. It's just that it's going to be delayed on getting paid.
You demand, Steve.
So now that they've gotten paid, then you get the slingshot effect of a whole lot of money jumping into the economy to catch them up.
Yeah, not only that, it was a little tiny percentage of the... Whatever.
Yeah, it's not going to affect GDP, much of any. And my friends, the following message is brought to you by CNN, ABC, and MSNBC and the like.
Attention, citizens of Central America and Mexico looking to come to the United...
Oh, wait a minute. Let me back it up. It's brought to you by CNN. I got to get them all in according to my script here. CNN, ABC's AOC, Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Rachel Maddow, Eric Estrada, Barack Obama, and Fidel Castro's corpse.
Attention, citizens of Central America and Mexico looking to come to the United States. You may have heard that the U.S. is planning a great wall to be built along Mexico's northern border. Travel plans dashed? Think again. Introducing The Ladder. Made of durable space-age aluminum, your ladder will help you scale any wall you desire. Simply lean the ladder against the wall and climb over it. It's that simple. Ladders do not protect you from Border Patrol, barbed wire, or those who want to harm you who also know how to use a ladder. A second ladder may be necessary to get down from the top of any wall you plan to climb over. Remember, never climb or stand on the top step. Do not walk under any ladder, as you may encounter a significant amount of bad luck. Coming to America, bring a ladder. You can't leave Mexico without it. Ladders, helping people climb over walls since 8000 BC.
Mm-hmm. Well, the principal and superintendent of a school district near Flint, Michigan, posted yet another Snow Day song, but this one was better than the last. They've both got good voices. They harmonize, and it's... Well, you be the judge if it's any good to listen to.
Heard about a winter storm. It's cold and dreary. Stay home, stay warm. It's cold and it's a snowy winter morning. It goes like this when the snow hits. The buses can't get out of it. It's cold and it's a snowy winter morning. It's a snow day, a winter cold day. Stay home and just play. It's a great family day.
Would-be wannabe singers.
Yeah, they're very good.
Well, the Bronx Zoo is doing a stunt for Valentine's Day where you name a cockroach for someone on Valentine's Day, because roaches are forever. It's a Madagascar hissing cockroach, to be specific. You could also name it after your ex, which is how some zoos are doing this stunt.
How long until the teddy bear you gave them starts collecting dust bunnies? The fresh flowers were romantic. Week-old wilted flowers, not so much. There's a reason half-eaten chocolate isn't on anyone's wish list. This Valentine's Day, name a roach in honor of your special someone, because roaches are forever.
Yeah, that will endear them to you, won't it?
Mm-mm. Half-eaten chocolate's not on my wish list, but if I'm the one that half-eaten it, then... bring it on, baby.
Well, I've talked about this lately, particularly here in our area, where...
half-eaten is not a proper grammar.
Some people who...
and this is a bad disclaimer.
Do we have to keep going to the Twilight Zone? Are you just insisting that I pull it out here? There we go. All right, you got there. You know, I've talked about how we had that one highway patrolman that just carried a chase way too far and ended up killing the driver and putting hundreds of our citizens at risk during that chase.
To be fair, he did not kill... the driver killed himself, but your point about...
No, he pitted him, and the driver brought it on. I mean, he's the one...
driver brought it on. He's responsible.
He pitted him, and he died as a result.
And didn't the DA's report say he didn't actually pit him? It was an accidental bump?
Well, same effect. But it just went way too long. It should not have gone on that long, especially with all the traffic and his determination to hit or kill anything in its way to get away.
Whatever it was, it put him in a 6-foot pit.
Yeah, luckily that no innocent person was in the 6-foot pit with him. Only by the grace of God. It wasn't anybody's super-duper powers of driving skill. But anyway, getting to my point this morning, In other words, that was a bully with a badge. Here's another instance of a bully with a badge. A guy in Florida had to spend 41 days in jail and miss Christmas with his family because a cop said a white substance in his car was heroin when it was actually laundry detergent. The cop claimed to have done a field test on the substance, but didn't show anybody any results. He just assumed it was heroin, locked him up, and basically threw away the key for 41 days. The guy finally got out. Fortunately, in this case, the cop got fired like he should. No judgment, no badge.
41 days.
Yeah.
I had 92 grams of laundry soap in my door, and that's what I was falsely charged for trafficking of heroin. He showed me a picture of the field test kit that he supposedly conducted on his phone. He never actually showed me the field test kit. So there was really no way I was getting out of jail. Police corruption is something you always hear about or you see in the movies. Planning to move forward with my life and go back to work and just kind of pick things up right where I left off.
No, poor guy. He can't pick up right where he left off. His reputation is damaged.
Yeah, forever. Guy in North Carolina facing charges. Now, this one's he should face charges. He was sneaking up behind at least 3 different women and pressed his face against their backside and then kissed their butt. Here's the report.
According to his arrest warrants, the 25-year-old put his face into the butts of 3 women. In 2 of the cases, he's accused of licking their bottoms.
He took off running from me, so I don't know exactly where all he went.
You have to watch behind you anywhere you go. And now, since I've been made aware of it, I'm definitely going to be more aware and watch who's behind me and who's around me.
Try and get away, get some separation from the person, tell them to stop. Make it very, very, if you're in a retail store, be loud or very assertive with them. Tell them, stop, get away from me, get back.
Well, all right. Of course you should be aware always your chances of that happening are tiny. But you're right. He needs to be locked up. He's got the kind of paraphilia that can progress. He's already into assault. And
like the guy said, get real loud, real fast, and that will probably scare him off. A little scream, stop that, get away from me. Should get the real men in the audience to come help you out.
That would have been me prior to doing the show, but you have so beaten me down with those damn estrogen testosterone tests that now if I hear it, I'll just go quiver in the corner.
Well, I'm just trying to get your meds adjusted correctly here.
Whatever.
You be the judge here. A woman in New York sat for days next to what she thought was her brother while he was brain dead in the hospital, and then gave the okay to turn off the life support system. It turns out it wasn't her brother. He just had a similar name and a swollen face, so she didn't recognize him. Her real brother was in jail. Now she's suing the hospital for emotional distress. The guy whose life was ended was brain dead after a drug overdose.
Sounds like just a big group of quality people right there.
Yeah, or is she just trying to cash in? You be the judge.
A major mistake at a Bronx hospital now has the facility facing legal action. Sherelle Powell says she accidentally consented to having a stranger taken off life support at St. Barnabas Hospital because she thought it was her brother. The man, who had the same name as Powell's brother, had a tube in his mouth and had a swollen appearance, she says. She spent 9 days at the man's bedside, and it wasn't until he died that she discovered his true identity. Powell's brother was actually in jail at the time. She's now suing the hospital. In response, the hospital says the lawsuit is without merit.
You know, they had a recent story about a 911 operator who was hanging up on calls that she thought were boring and not rendering aid.
Yeah, I remember something about that.
That was last week. But there are good ones out there. Take Lafayette, Indiana. A kid there called 911 last week because he was having a bad day at school and a lot of math homework.
911. Hi, I had a really bad day and, I don't know.
You had a bad day at school?
Yeah, I just came to tell you that.
Yeah, what happened at school that made you have a bad day?
I just have tons of homework.
What subjects do you have homework in?
Math, and it's so hard.
What are you learning in math? What's so difficult?
Fractions.
Oh, okay. Is there a problem you want me to help you with?
Yeah, what's 3 by 4 plus 1 by 4?
So, do you have your paperwork in front of you, your homework?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you do 3 over 4, put that on your paper.
Okay.
And then do plus 1 over 4.
Okay.
Okay. So what's 3 plus 1?
4.
And then it would be over 4. So then 4 over 4 is what?
1.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Was that your only problem?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry for calling you, but I really need help.
You're fine. We're always here to help.
Okay.
She was reprimanded. Fired.
Be fortunate they didn't ask you to convert that to metric.
And the 3 people that died in the fire thank her.
I'm sure if the call board was full, she'd be off the phone.
I'm sure.
Or put him on hold. Anyway, there are good people out there. Speaking of which, another good story for you. Couple in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, was about to have their baby at home when first responders arrived. Dun, 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 dun. And the firefighters showed up to help deliver the baby. Then, here's the hero part of it. They stuck around to shovel the driveway.
It was kind of crazy. It went so fast. I was wondering, is the baby going to be okay? We're at home. We're by ourselves. I was delivering a baby the next minute, and then the fire department showed up, and they were so helpful. They were calm, cool, and collective.
We realized there was quite a bit of snow in the driveway. We started requesting some additional help from other units.
They were all out there. It was like a teamwork thing. It was great.
We do anything that we can to help individuals that need help.
Thank you. God bless you, and we really appreciate it.
I'm glad they were calm, cool, and collective.
Well, you know how exciting Bill Belichick can be. I mean to tell you, this Super Bowl, he is just wound up full of energy. In fact, a reporter at the Boston radio station got to ask Bill Belichick a question at a Super Bowl press conference yesterday, and the guy asked for a selfie with Belichick. Surprisingly, he was cool with it. Here's that emotional moment in history.
WAF Boston. It's a kind of a unique question with the social media. Could I come up there and take a selfie with you, Coach? Would that be okay?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get that later, all right?
Is it maybe if I just got in front of the podium and you waved?
Next question.
Moving along.
Dummy.
While speaking of the Super Bowl, Coke's Super Bowl ad is animated and draws inspiration from Andy Warhol. And just like last year, they're preaching a message of diversity and inclusion. Oh, this is getting deep now. As we've heard, Coke got cheap this year, so it actually won't be happening during the game, the ad. It'll be right before the game. Here's y'all.
A Coke
Is a Coke.
Is a Coke.
It's the same for everyone.
You can get one if you want it.
No matter where you're from.
He drinks Coke and she drinks Coke.
Even though they disagree.
Oh. And while the bottles look alike, you aren't the same as me.
Stars drink it.
Chefs drink it.
Farmers want one when it's hot. There's a Coke here if you're thirsty.
But that's cool if you're not. We all have different hearts and hands.
Heads holding various views.
Don't you see? Different is beautiful. being together is beautiful too.
Yeah. I feel so full of diversity and inclusion now.
Shut up.
What a wonderful feeling. Chance the Rapper stars in the Dorito Super Bowl ad, which also features the Backstreet Boys. Ooh, I can't wait for that one. They'll be singing I Want It That Way.
Flamin' Hot Nacho. They made the original hot.
Ooh, hot stuff all over my nachos, walking like a taco, driving over potholes, hotter than a pot roast, fingers on my hot chips, red-handed, come on, man, I'ma need some chopsticks,
Oh, yeah, it just takes so much talent. I can't hardly stand it all. Anything else worth talking about?
Budweiser is global warming kind of stuff now. Their Super Bowl ad talks about it's all produced by wind power now.
Well, they need a new ad agency.
Oh, good for you.
All right, let's see who can make us laugh this morning with Late Night Boys. First up, Fallon.
Federal employees returned to work this week. Yes. Though one woman says that when she got back to her office, she had over 4,000 unread emails. Even worse, they were all from one employee who kept writing, "Where is everybody?" You read the papers?
Okay, not funny. Let's see if Kimmel can tickle our funny bone.
More than 83 million Americans are expected to experience sub-zero temperatures this week. They say it could be even colder in Chicago this week than it is in Antarctica. Residents of Chicago are being forced to slice into deep dish pizzas and crawl inside them.
Okay, 0 for 2.
That's a Star Wars reference, I think.
Now for the snootiest of all them all, Stephen Colbert. Born Stephen Colbert changed his name to the Snooty Colbert because it sounded more snooty. Let's see if he can put a laugh on us.
Scientists are working on a pill for loneliness. We already have one. It's called a Cinnabon. Scientists are experimenting with giving lonely patients a neurosteroid called pregnenolone, which significantly reduces perceived loneliness. So it makes you think you're less lonely than you are. And in fact, previously achievable only with prescription strength cats.
Okay, can't hardly pull myself off the floor from all that laughter. And these guys get paid a whole lot more than you.
They get paid a whole lot more than I do.
All right, next hour we got John Zumwalt's extended Zumwalt zone. Maureen Kruger will be his guest.
The district attorney.
Yeah. Let's see here. All right. Clean out some things you will enjoy. Things we need to know so we don't sound stupid. This is something pretty important here. Israeli scientists say they may have found a cure for cancer. Quoting here, our cancer cure will be effective from day one, will last a duration of a few weeks, and will have no or minimal side effects at a much lower cost than most other treatments on the market.
They're not saying may. They're saying they do.
I'm just reading what's here.
I'm just telling you.
Well, I hope they do.
I hope
Wouldn't
so
that be
too.
something? Probably every drug company in the world's fighting this because we won't need their medicine anymore at awful costs. CBS says Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan will sit down with President Trump for an interview that will air before Sunday Super Bowl. Ariel Winter of Modern Family is saying she knows she did not have plastic surgery. Comments are flying due to her recent pictures of apparent weight loss. She was getting pretty hefty. Trump has accepted an invitation from House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to deliver the State of the Union address next Tuesday. Norway is working on plans to build a $40 billion floating tunnel. Well, isn't that special? And an assistant professor at Duke University has stepped down as a graduate studies administrator after telling students to use English 100% of the time while on campus or in professional settings. That's enough to get you fired, I guess. All right, coming up on 8 o'clock, all your latest news, sports, and weather is next right here. We'll be back.
It's a cold day out there today, and we'll have fairly windy conditions throughout the afternoon, making it feel even colder. Plenty of sunshine today. We could have some gusts up to 40 miles per hour. High temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies and cold with temperatures in the mid to upper teens. Thursday, we'll have plenty of sunshine with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills. 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. It is so cold across parts of the Midwest that people are being advised not to venture outside unless it's absolutely necessary. The region dealing with record cold, minus 19 in Chicago at last check, 26 below Minneapolis. The wind chills, though, make it feel even colder than that. This bone-chilling cold, nothing new for people up in International Falls, Minnesota.
And we all move, and we help push each other out of the snow piles, and we start each other's car, and we smile and keep moving.
Sandy Dexter in International Falls, where this morning it's 37 below, but it feels like minus 50. The cold resulting in almost 2,000 flight delays and cancellations. President Trump's already been busy on Twitter this morning. The president writes, if the committee of Republicans and Democrats now meeting on border security is not discussing or contemplating a wall or physical barrier, they are wasting their time. After the briefest of defenses, closing arguments come today in the El Chapo drug trial in New York.
In the Brooklyn trial of Joaquin Guzman, the Mexican drug lord nicknamed El Chapo, the state called 56 witnesses who told lurid tales that included a naked escape through a tunnel, cash bribes to top Mexican officials, and the torture and murder of rivals. It took 11 weeks. The defense case? One witness, 30 minutes, an FBI agent who testified about a 2017 interview with the Guzman supplier. The defense actively attacked the government's roster of former Chapo Confederates turned cooperators on cross-examination. It's expected to lean heavily on the idea that they're lying to reduce their sentences in closing arguments. Warren Levinson, New York.
No interest rate hike expected as the Fed later today wraps up its first meeting of the year. Wall Street stock futures sharply higher. Dow futures up 243 points. S&P futures 12 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
My story begins with debt, a lot of debt, credit card debt, and I heard a commercial for Trinity. I gave them a call.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
When I first called, I was a little embarrassed and kind of ashamed, and I looked at the numbers, and I saw how quickly that astronomical debt that was in my life would go away.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
What I would tell other people, please pick up the phone and call Trinity. Just let them put together a program and see how affordable and easy it is to pay off your debt.
Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976.
A plea for temperance in India.
The women from southern India's Karnataka state marched through towns and cities shouting, "We don't want beer, we want water." They began the rally early this month and walked more than 200 kilometers to raise awareness of the impact of rising alcoholism. One protester said it was getting difficult for households to make ends meet when men spend most of their earnings on alcohol. In recent years, there have been similar anti-alcohol protests led by women in other parts of India.
That's BBC's Ambarasanatha Rajan. The UN's top refugee official says 6 people died on average every day trying to cross the Mediterranean last year, and that the death rate in perilous sea crossings is on the rise. The UN High Commissioner for Refugees says it should make all Europeans reflect very deeply. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Baltimore's top cop insisting his officers will continue making arrests for marijuana possession.
Acting Police Commissioner Gary Tuggle says Baltimore police will keep arresting people for illegal marijuana possession under the law. His announcement comes just hours after the city's top prosecutor said her office will no longer prosecute such cases. Acting Commissioner Tuggle also says his officers will stop the arrests only if Maryland lawmakers change the law to make all pot possession legal.
It's correspondent Andrew Stewart. The government alleges Chinese tech giant Huawei went so far as to steal a robot's arm in its bid to get its hands on T-Mobile's trade secrets. The case over Tappy, T-Mobile's phone testing robot, portrays a company going to what the government calls illegal lengths to gain access to others' intellectual property. And on Wall Street, Dow futures up 237. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Great news. Get into an available Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, or Dodge at invoice less all rebates. Only at Leith Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Aberdeen during the Owner Appreciation Day sales event. New 2018 and 2019 vehicles are available at invoice less all rebates. Just ask at Leith and Aberdeen. We're easy to get to, easy to deal with, and the home of available invoice less all rebates. Leith Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Aberdeen. The name you can trust.
Tax tag and $598 administrative documentary fee additional.
Begin the year with a new car from Leith Honda Aberdeen. With a huge selection of new 2018 and 2019 vehicles, great prices, and no games or gimmicks, Leith Honda Aberdeen makes it easy for you, no matter what your budget is. We have special interest rates as low as 0.9% APR and sign and drive leases with no money down that could put you in a new car today. Leith Honda Aberdeen, easy to get to and easy to deal with. Come in today.
Donuts so heavenly you'd think they were made by angels. Southern Angel Donut Company is now open for your heavenly pleasure in Olmsted Village behind the First National Bank. Sarah and the Angels are up daily at 3 a.m. making donuts the old-fashioned way, preparing holy taste bud delights like the maple bacon donut or their special apple fritters. And hey, Southern Angel Donuts make great business icebreakers because who doesn't like a great donut? Give Southern Angel Donuts a try today. Open 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily.
At First Bank, North Carolina's largest independent community bank, we know your dream may be to make it possible for your child to achieve theirs. Whether you want to start saving for their education, to pay for a first tuition bill, or to help your student be a smart spender, First Bank offers a wide range of products and services to help you achieve your dreams. From student checking accounts to prepaid debit cards, savings accounts to home equity lines of credit, you'll find a great fit at First Bank.
Ever been told or seen those crazy ads that offer $1,000 off certain vehicles? Only to be told when you show up that, hey, that's with the trade-in, or you didn't qualify. It's in the small print. I have, and I didn't like it. Aaron Cooper here with Cooper Ford. Our sales and service staff want to make your experience a fun and exciting one. Not scary and frustrating like you get at the big corporate stores. Our straightforward, no games, no gimmicks pricing and our low price guarantee make Cooper Ford your dealership of choice in Moore County. Working really hard to be your hometown dealer, Cooper Ford.
My name is Bob Bonneville. I own Griswold Home Care of Pinehurst and live right here in the Sandhills. Griswold Home Care is dedicated to helping you live independently in the comfort of your own home. Our network of home care professionals enables us to refer to you the perfect caregiver. For personal care, homemaking, live-in, or companionship services, call Bob Bonneville at 910-420-2360. That's 910-420-2360. Or go online to griswoldhomecare.com/Pinehurst. We've been keeping the heart at home since 1982.
At
NCN News. I'm Mike Rayleigh. Dangerously cold temperatures are forecast for the Midwest this week. With the wind chills, it's 40, 50, and even 60 degrees below zero in some areas. Meteorologist Craig Allen says a bitter, cold polar outbreak is dangerous.
When you have wind chills of minus 50 degrees, let's say, on average, it's very, very hard to talk. That air could actually freeze within the windpipe and down into the lungs. So they're telling people not to be outdoors and talking.
In North Carolina, it's cold, too. National Weather Service meteorologist Mike Strickler's in Raleigh.
This morning, temperatures down in the upper teens to around 20 degrees over a big part of the Triangle and the Piedmont. And we will mild up, so to speak, today. We'll see some lower to middle 40s. Ahead of an Arctic cold front that's aligned just west of the Appalachian Mountains.
Maybe a little more snow in the mountains. In a Senate Intelligence Committee hearing on global threats, the top officials in U.S. intelligence contradicted President Trump's assertions on foreign policy, including claims about North Korea, ISIS, and Iran. CBS News senior national security analyst Fran Townsend talks about the significance of Tuesday's hearing.
Clearly, the intelligence community is taking seriously its obligation, frankly, to speak truth to power. This can't have been the testimony the president would have written himself for the intelligence community.
State Attorney General Josh Stein says clearing a backlog of some 15,000 untested rape kits won't happen overnight, but a major push is being launched to reduce the number and catch more criminals. He says a grant will help with some of the kits, and a $6 million legislative proposal should take care of most of the rest.
The one constraint that cannot slow down the process of testing all these old kits is money. We cannot allow money to be the reason why the kits aren't tested.
Emergency crews are on the scene of a deadly crash this morning after a car crashed in a creek in Catawba County. One person was killed. You're listening to NCN News.
Do you suffer hockey withdrawal pains as I do whenever your Carolina Hurricanes go straight from a road trip into the NHL All-Star break? 2 full straight weeks with no home games at PNC Arena? Ouch! Well, good news. On the same weekend, the Canes will be back home twice, starting Friday, February 1st against the Vegas Golden Knights and continuing Sunday afternoon, February 3rd, with fantastic family packs available as the Calgary Flames are in town. Ease your pain today. Hurricanes.com/tickets.
Ready, set, fish. On May 4th in Morehead City, anglers of all ages will cast their lines for a great cause in the 11th annual Reel In for Research Fishing Tournament, benefiting UNC Children's Hospital and Pediatric Cancer Research. Reel In for Research has raised $3 million to date, and we're setting the bar high for 2019. There are plenty of offshore and inshore activities that help our mission, so the whole family can join. To learn more about Reel In for Research or to donate, please visit reelinforresearch.org. Help us land a cure for childhood cancer.
The North Carolina legislature is returning to work today after a 3-week break. The session reconvenes today, so lawmakers will now file bills, hold committee meetings, and take votes. A couple of North Carolina's congressional districts are currently without representation in Congress. The race in the 9th District is still awaiting a final decision, and 3rd District Congressman Walter Jones is currently in hospice. Meredith College political science professor David McClennan tells Spectrum News that it could become a concern at some point.
Almost 1.5 million North Carolinians without representation in Congress. The good news is there have not been a lot of tight votes.
Parents who give their kids a lot of fruit juice are worried about health concerns.
I'm Gary Nunn. Consumer Reports tests on 45 fruit juices found measurable levels of lead, arsenic, and cadmium. CR scientist James Dickerson says that people should be mindful but not panic.
Frequent exposure to these heavy metals through the juice is the concern.
Especially some types of cancer and kidney disease. NYU pediatrician Leo Trisande recommends
eat an apple, preferably organic, and drink water as a substitute.
The Juice Products Association calls the results unfounded, saying fruit juice products are safe, nutritious, and meet FDA standards. Gary Nunn, CBS News.
A big relief for kosher salt fans.
Fear not, home cooks. The rumors about Diamond Crystal kosher salt are not true. Cargill, which owns the salt company, says it is not discontinuing the brand of fine, multifaceted, fragile crystals valued for their unique salty flavor. As rumors circulated on Twitter, fans started stocking up and posting pictures of grocery bags loaded with the 3-pound red and white boxes. A rep for Cargill believes the fears may have come from recent changes in packaging and container sizes. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Colder temperatures settling in. We'll have plenty of sunshine out there today, but it will be breezy and cold. Temperatures will stay in the upper 30s to lower 40s with wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, so it'll feel even colder out there. Mostly clear skies overnight tonight into Thursday morning with temperatures dipping down into the mid to upper teens, so even colder overnight tonight. Sunny skies for Thursday with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sand Hills area, we have sunny skies, 23 degrees, humidity 81%, dew point 18, pressure is 30-15, winds south of 3, visibility is at 10 statute miles. 8:13, let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Wednesday hump day morning. Aberdeen police announced the arrest of Nicholas George Grady Fromm of Rayford. Fromm was arrested by Hoke County Sheriff's Office for passing counterfeit bills in Aberdeen. Fromm's being held under a $1,500 secured bond. The Aberdeen Police Department has received several reports of counterfeit bills recently. The counterfeit bills are marked motion picture purposes only. Please be aware of these bills being circulated in the area so that you don't get hold of one. 2018 appears to have been one of the safest years in recent memories on highways across Moore County. According to crash statistics provided by the State Highway Patrol, motorists were injured in fewer wrecks last year on major thoroughfares. The agency investigated 240 injurious crashes and the fewest reported since 2013. The annual number of vehicle accidents in which people were injured has steadily declined over the past 3 years. State troopers in Moore County investigated 253 such crashes during 2017, down from 306 in 2016. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but stand by. Here comes all your latest in sports. Right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. It is 8:15.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. North Carolina on the road last night, and Cam Johnson came up big, scoring 22 points for the number 9 Tar Heels for their 4th straight win. They beat Georgia Tech 77-54. Kobe White added 19 points and shot 5 of 9 from three-point range for North Carolina. Roy Williams afterward.
Got a road win. Feel very good about that. It was a weird game. First 3 or 4 possessions, I thought we had great shots, made none of them. And after that, we took some bad shots, turned the ball over, just silly turns. We threw it out of bounds 3 times. For us to miss 35 shots, and we got 7 offensive rebounds. So I'm not pleased. I was not pleased at halftime with that, but we came out early in the second half. The ball started going in the basket, and everything looked a lot better. But again, it's a road win for us. It's a good win.
Third-ranked Virginia staved off an upset by number 23 NC State 66-55 in overtime. Wyatt Walker scored 3 points in the final 3:21 of the extra session and got some key offensive rebounds and a block, while Torin Dorn scored 7 of his 13 points in that same span.
We don't take any more victories. We're obviously disappointed in the loss, but that's a good team and we fought pretty hard, so I'm definitely pleased with our effort. Just a few key plays down the stretch we got to convert on.
I've never really been one that's into moral victories, but, you know, they're the number 3 team in the country, and it was a possession game, so, you know, the sky's the limit for us, I would say.
In other top 25 finals last night, number 1 Tennessee tied a program record with its 15th straight win, 92-70 over South Carolina. Texas used stifling defense to snap a 10-game losing streak to number 11 Kansas, 73-63 the final. Texas hadn't beat the Jayhawks since 2014. Number 21 Maryland ended a 2-game skid with a rout of Northwestern 70-52. Number 18 Buffalo cruised to its 21st straight win at home over Ball State. And 24th ranked Wisconsin surged in the second half to beat Nebraska 62-51. This is NCN Sports.
At AT&T, we believe that access to affordable home internet brings you incredible opportunities. You can enjoy the power to explore a digital world of possibilities and connect with family, friends, and the things that matter most. That's why there's access from AT&T. If a member of your household is a SNAP participant, you may qualify for home internet at a discounted rate of $10 a month. No commitment, no deposit, no installation fee. Plus, get an in-home Wi-Fi gateway at no extra cost. Call 1-855-220-5211 or visit att.com/aware to learn more.
SNAP refers to the Federal Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Pricing excludes tax. Service will include a monthly data allowance depending on the type and speed of service you receive. If you exceed your monthly data plan allowance, you will be automatically charged $10 for each 50 gigabytes of data usage in excess of your data plan, even if less than 50 gigabytes is used. For details about data allowances, go to att.com/internet-usage. Wi-Fi enabled device required. Other restrictions apply.
20 players were announced Tuesday as participants in this year's NBA Rising Stars game during All-Star Weekend. That game featuring rookies and second-year players and will use the U.S. versus World format. Sacramento's De'Aaron Fox was asked yesterday about potentially making the Rising Stars team, to which he provided a colorful response.
Potentially? It's not official yet.
It's official. It's always great, just being able to play in an atmosphere like that.
You say it's official. The notification has been made. No?
Did I say the notification has been made?
No, I'm asking.
Nah. You saw the way I've been playing this year, so if I'm not in it, then...
Former Blue Devil Marvin Bagley III will join his Sacramento teammate Fox on the U.S. team. NBA All-Star Weekend is February 15th through 17th in Charlotte. The Carolina Hurricanes announced they've signed Jordan Martinook to a 2-year contract extension. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
This is Chuck from Sunbelt Service Pros. Are you just not feeling it anymore with your AC service provider? Are you calling those guys because that's what you've always done, or because there's a sticker on the thermostat with an old phone number on it? How about this? Take a chance and you'll be thrilled to find that you're getting real value for your heating and cooling dollars. When you call Sunbelt Service Pros, you are dealing with a professional and reliable service provider. Our technicians are highly trained and certified and can quickly address any issues. Our customers find our technicians and office staff courteous, friendly, and professional throughout the whole process. We're doing something right here. You need to check us out. Find out what you've been missing and call us today. Sunbelt Service Pros at 910-944-2044 or go online to sunbeltservicepros.com.
Jump into the fire at Brick's Woodfire Pizza at the Cole Shopping Center and check out the new menu. In addition to the great selection of wood-fired pizzas, Brick's now has wood-fired wings in 3 flavors, delicious soups, pastas, salads, and sandwiches, all made fresh daily. Brick's Pizza now serves Sunday brunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. with your choice of 6 menu items and all bottles of wine Sundays at half price. Jump into the fire at Brick's Woodfire Pizza, Cole Shopping Center, Southern Pines. Open every day at 11 a.m.
You can jump into the fire. My mom's home is 9 rooms and 56 years of memories. Everything that's important to her happened under this roof. She's slowed down a little and needs help. Nothing too difficult, just a hand with everyday chores. Someone to look after her when I can't. My mom loves her home. There's no place she'd rather be.
If your mom wants to stay in her home, call me, Bob Bonville at Griswold Home Care Pinehurst, 910-420-2360. That's 910-420-2360. We've been keeping the heart at home since 1982.
Great news. Get into an available Ram, Jeep, Chrysler, or Dodge at invoice less all rebates. Only at Leith Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Aberdeen during the Owner Appreciation Day sales event. New 2018 and 2019 vehicles are available at invoice less all rebates. Just ask at Leith and Aberdeen. We're easy to get to, easy to deal with, and the home of available invoice less all rebates. Leith Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Aberdeen. The name you can trust. Tax tag and $598 administrative documentary fee additional.
Begin the year with a new car from Leith Honda Aberdeen. With a huge selection of new 2018 and 2019 vehicles, great prices, and no games or gimmicks, Leith Honda Aberdeen makes it easy for you, no matter what your budget is. We have special interest rates as low as 0.9% APR and sign and drive leases with no money down that could put you in a new car today. Leith Honda Aberdeen. Easy to get to and easy to deal with. Come in today.
Nights, weekend, and holidays. Plumbing problems never seem to take time off. And always, they seem to crop up at the worst possible times. And unfortunately, they can't wait hours on end for a solution. The Plumbing Night to the rescue. The Plumbing Night, of course, doesn't take time off either, because service is the lifeblood of their organization. Make the Plumbing Night your plumbing service partner and protector. Hopefully, it won't be an emergency when you call, but they're prepared to help if it is. And they won't take an arm and a leg just because it happened at an inconvenient time. Now, that's a plumbing knight in shining armor, if you ask me. Check them out on the web at theplumbingknight.com or call them 639-5555. That's an easy number. Write it down. 639-5555. Again, that's 639-5555, day or night.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. Growing up in South Texas, I spent a lot of time at Padre Island. I loved the beach. And like just about every generation, I did some really dumb things at the beach. I'll tell you about one. I was out in the water, no doubt a little deeper than I should have been. I was with a girl that I knew, and we were trying to get to the next sandbar where the water was shallow enough so that we could stand up. Well, she began to panic a bit. Water was over her head. She said she didn't think she was going to be able to make it. I said to her, listen, I'm right here. As long as I'm with you, nothing could happen to you. Well, the problem was I wasn't so sure myself. So here's the brilliant plan that I came up with. We were only about a foot over our heads, so I said, I'm going to go under and hold you up. You try to relax and get some air. And so I did. I took a deep breath, stood on the bottom, and held her up by her waist. In about 15 seconds, I had the following thought. What moron thought of this plan? I actually did that twice, and we made it back to shore finally. Sometimes a short-term plan will get you to a place where you're okay and you can fix things more permanently. When it comes to immigration, I think our Congress has had their head underwater holding us up for a long time. I don't think they realize that won't work forever. You can't go without air that long, Congress, even at the beach, even if you're in the Zumwalt Zone.
It's a cold day out there today, and we'll have fairly windy conditions throughout the afternoon, making it feel even colder. Plenty of sunshine today. We could have some gusts up to 40 miles per hour. High temperatures in the upper 30s to lower 40s. Overnight tonight, mostly clear skies and cold with temperatures in the mid to upper teens. Thursday, we'll have plenty of sunshine with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. For the North Carolina News Network, I'm meteorologist Amy Wilmoth in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
What are you doing?
Shh. I am trying to sleep.
Time to wake up.
No.
Wait, what day is today?
It's hump day.
What? Is that today? It's Wednesday. I'm giving up listening.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
We're halfway there.
Halfway there. Halfway.
Where?
Is it a weekend? Okay. Guess I can hold on a little longer. Until then.
Good morning. Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, and don't forget, of course, this program being seen around the world on our live video stream. That's available to you at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where that link's located. You can also get it on your mobile device using your YouTube app. Put Mornings with the Leader Man in there, Leader Man, all one word, to get the right results to the top of your results list. If you're on your mobile device looking for that crystal clear digital stream of ours, the audio only, then you can get that with your streaming services like TuneIn, iTunes, Streama. Many others will work also. Put WEEB into that search parameter. And if you're on the website, you can always get it anytime in the upper right-hand corner of any of our web pages at talk973.com, where the icon says Listen Live. Tap it once and you're listening just that quick. It's going to be mostly sunny today with a high of 45, much better than Chicago. Then tonight, clear skies, a low of 19. That's as much damage as this vortex is going to do to us this go-round. Then Thursday, mostly sunny, 42 for a high, 24 Thursday night. Friday, sunny and 53. Saturday, more sunshine, 57. Sunday, 60. Monday, 66. And Tuesday, 70. Right now around the Sandhills, winds are south of 3, visibility 10 statute miles. Humidity at 81%. Dew point, wish we could bottle this for October or in August, in June, and July, and May, and you know what I'm talking about. Dew point's 18 right now. Pressure is 3015. It's sunny and 23 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And this being Wednesday and everything, it's time for another edition of the Zoom Alt Zone extended version. We're going to come up with the right name for it in the distant future, but John's here with a special guest with the power of arrest over him.
Well, good morning, Steve. Thank you. Yep, we've got a special guest, one with a great deal of authority. Matter of fact, a lot of people don't know this, but the highest vote getter in Moore County when she ran for office last time. I'm very happy to have our district attorney, Moore County, Maureen Kruger. Good morning, Madam DA.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
How much time's left in your term this time?
2 more years to go.
2 more years. So you're on the presidential
Yes.
cycle. Okay.
Now, for the purpose of this interview, may we call you Maureen?
Absolutely.
Okay, it'll make things simpler. I want to start right off. I want to get into some things that, just judging from Facebook posts that I've looked at, are of concern to people. A long time ago, cops didn't really worry so much about arresting someone for DWI. It was almost a sham. People would brag. They'd be out the next day. Nothing would happen. Attorneys made whole careers saying, I'll get you off. Is that the way it is today?
Absolutely not. The times have certainly changed, and nobody gets off, so to speak, of a DWI anymore.
Well, what if you arrest them and they just tell you, as some attorneys I've heard say, just don't take the roadside breathalyzer. Don't blow when you get into the station. Doesn't that get them off?
No, if only over that simple for a defendant. But this is what happens. When you refuse to blow on the intoxilizer at the officer's request, your license is automatically revoked for a year, period. And that's because when you get your driver's license, you agree, hey, if an officer asks me to do this, I'm going to do it. And if you don't do what the officer requests, the punishment for that is you lose your license for a year, regardless of what happens in court. So the DWI, whatever happens with the DWI in court, guilty or not guilty, you still lose your license for a year for refusing to comply with the officer's request. But there's more to it. In the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, we have really, really pushed the officers to say, when someone refuses to give you that breath sample, you are legally entitled to go get, with an order, a sample of their blood. And then we can have that blood tested to see what the blood alcohol level is and or if they've got drugs in their system. So that's really the worst case scenario, because you lose your license for a year because you refused, and the officer still gets to get the blood sample, so we still have that evidence to use against the defendant.
Okay, that's good, and it sounds good for a guy like me. What happens if one of our leading citizens in our community gets arrested in Moore County for DWI? Can't they make a call to a judge in everyday life? Can't they make a call to a judge and this good old boy system kicks in and they'll just kind of look the other way? Are you telling me this doesn't happen?
I'm telling you, absolutely, that never happens. Cases are tried on their merits. People either come in and plead guilty to it. There's no reductions. It used to be way back before I was even an assistant DA that people would get their case reduced to a careless and reckless driving. I've never done that. We don't do that. People don't get breaks on DWIs. They either plead guilty or they go to trial.
So if someone hears about that, they need to come to you, don't they?
They do. And I've been sitting in a restaurant and heard somebody talking about, oh, so-and-so, they got a DWI and they got off of it. And then I go back and look up the case, and that person pled guilty, got the exact same sentence that anyone else would get. But in the public's mind, there still is that kind of myth that if you're somebody important, so to speak, you're going to get off.
Well, that makes me think of a case we had in Moore County, and it's relatively recent. It's a tragic story, and I hope it doesn't bring up any bad memories for folks who were involved. But we had a very, very sad story where a young man was walking to work on the side of the road. He was going to work at Walmart. He got hit and it killed him. Police officers did what I thought was excellent police work. They found a truck. The truck had a broken headlight. It also had hair in the side of the headlight, and they had the guy on video up the road a ways. And I was as disturbed as everyone else to find out that, wait a minute, this guy got something less than what I thought he should have gotten. Are you familiar with that particular crime?
I am familiar with that, and this was a terrible, terrible tragedy for this young man and his family who was walking to work, doing nothing wrong, doing everything right in the world. I believe he worked at McDonald's, actually, and early in the morning, that he was the kind of young man that would get up early, walk in the dark to go to his job, and by no fault of his own, got hit and tragically lost his life. And, of course, at first blush, you think, oh, this is one of those slam dunk cases. You can't possibly lose it. And things are never as they seem on TV or as you read in the paper. And we worked really hard to get a conviction against that defendant. Now, people did get upset, and we are upset, too, that you can get probation. And that's the law. The law is set out by the General Assembly, and judges have the authority to give probation in cases, and this is one of those scenarios where a judge has the authority to give probation. And when we look at decisions along the way in the case, when you say, well, there's hair in the headlight, well, there was hair in the headlight, and it was deer hair.
So you had that lab tested, and it was deer hair.
Mm-hmm. And, when you look at each individual fact, we had to look at whether or not that's something we could put in front of a jury and prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Not just that we believed he was guilty. Of course, if we didn't believe he was guilty, then we're not allowed to pursue anything against him. But whether or not we can move that needle from we believe he's guilty to we can prove it in front of a jury beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's a big difference. And when you're looking at a sentencing structure that's created by the General Assembly that says in these cases, a judge, even if you try it, even if you get a jury verdict, that judge can still give probation if he or she wants. We look at trying to get some conviction against the defendant.
So I'm not challenging you. I'm just going to make sure I have this right. If that was deer hair, was it deer blood? I don't recall. We mean the blood on the road? Yes, on the headlight.
No, there wasn't. There's just deer hair in the headlights.
Okay, and but there was nothing that matched the deceased.
No.
How did the defendant plead?
Guilty.
Guilty.
Mm-hmm.
But if I understand this correctly, you're saying that had you taken him to trial, you had a couple of choices. One, you didn't feel like you could win the case. And two, even if you did win, the judge still had the authority to give him probation.
Right.
So you ended up with probation. Okay, that makes a lot more sense when you know all the facts. So okay.
And these death, we call in the profession death by vehicle cases, and that's a terrible way to say it when someone has lost a loved one. There's even worse than that I think is like a misdemeanor version, but this is called death by vehicle. So, for example, if somebody runs a stop sign, under normal circumstances, it's an infraction. It's a $50 fine and court costs. You can pay it off all day long. If you run a stop sign and you hit somebody and they die, it's a misdemeanor death by vehicle, and one would think they'll automatically go to jail, which they don't. And the punishment for that is also, a fine and court costs probation.
Well, we're kind of getting bogged down in the law a little bit, and for people like me, that gets hard to understand. So I guess people are allowed to call your office if they need legal advice. Is that right?
Well, we're not. No. The straight answer is no. We can give advice about the process, how things work, what people can expect when they come to court, but to actually give legal advice about things, we're by law not allowed to do that. And it's frustrating for people. I work court a lot. I work traffic court a lot. Folks come in, they're nervous, they're scared, they don't know what to expect, and they ask me, well, how many points is this going to be? What's this going to do to my license? And then when I try to explain to them, I can't tell you that information. It's not that I don't want to, but I can't. I think they're a little suspicious of that. But we try to explain the process and what to expect and where they can find that information out.
Okay. Well, you know, they tell us that the biggest fear that people have is public speaking. And the second biggest fear is death. But all men know the biggest fear you have is looking like a moron while you're dying. No man wants to do that. But what is the biggest fear, or the biggest problem, I guess I should say, that you have in the Moore County District Attorney's Office?
Well, our primary goal, everyone who's gotten into this work, all the assistant DAs, our staff, our paralegals, our victim witness assistants, we all got into business to help somebody, to help victims. And that's why we do this. And what we see is that it would be nice to have more help in doing that, more assistant DAs to deal one-on-one with victims of crime, so that every victim, in an ideal world, every victim gets to come in, they get to talk to the person that's going to prosecute their case, they get to have time to prepare, they know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and what the outcomes are going to be. So, to me, all we want to do is provide good victim services to folks who are hurt, who've had something happen to them, their house has been broken into, they've been the victim of assault, whatever that case may be. We do know that for that person, their house has been broken into or their car's been broken into, something's been stolen from them. That's the most important thing that's going on in their life. So that's what we would like to focus on.
Well, you know, most people that go to court, I'm throwing out statistics here like I know what I'm doing, I don't. But I would imagine that a lot of people who come to court as a witness or as a defendant for some type of traffic violation have never been there. And so they're nervous, and they've watched TV. I know I watched all the crime shows. And in their mind, at least, if they make one wrong move, someone's going to yell, "Objection!" and the judge is going to chew them out and give them one more warning. Is it that hostile of an environment?
Well, it is an adversarial proceeding. So there are two sides to each story. But for the most part, it's professional. We don't hide anything from the defense. Everybody knows what to expect when you get to that point in trial. There may be objections, but they're not personal to that witness. They're about the facts. They're about the evidence and about the law. People do get very, very nervous when they have to testify in court. We teach classes on this to law enforcement, first responders, and if we have victims who need to come into court, we try to get them comfortable. Take them over to the courtroom, show them around, give them some sample questions so they know what to expect.
Do you teach them what to say?
Don't teach them what to say, but get them comfortable with what they're going to say.
So you would advise them to tell
the whole truth, no matter what, because the facts are the facts. The facts don't belong to me. They don't belong to the defense. They don't belong to anybody. So those witnesses are just there to give their facts, whether or not it's good, bad, ugly, no matter what it is. Those are neutral. They belong to the court.
We have all kinds of attorneys. We have, for you, prosecutors and defense attorneys. Do you feel like you have any obligation at all to protect innocent people who you might find in your court and the facts just don't jive?
Oh, absolutely. The prosecutor functions as a minister of justice. It sounds like a highfalutin phrase, but that's actually our legal mandate, is to do that. And I think it's every prosecutor's nightmare that somebody who's innocent will be prosecuted. And so we have to look at a case like the one we talked about earlier to not only believe, like personally and professionally believe the person is guilty, but then to have enough evidence to support that.
In your experience in the, by the way, we're talking with Maureen Kruger, who is the district attorney for Moore County. In your experience, do you ever run into cases, maybe that your courtroom's not taken care of, but where the DA seems to, or this ADA seems to be in it for the win and not for the truth? Well,
everyone in the profession is competitive and it's adversarial, but I'm going to say this, that I was a defense attorney for a brief while. I went to law school to be a prosecutor. I have got to live that dream many times over. But I was a defense attorney for a short while, And I represented someone who I knew was absolutely 100% innocent. Not that he was not guilty, but that he was actually innocent of what he was charged with. And we had to take that case to a jury trial because I could not convince the prosecutor that was handling it that the evidence they had did not match up to the crime that was charged. And it was, to say it was nerve-wracking to feel that responsibility, to know in your heart, to know professionally that person was not guilty. They had not done anything wrong, and they were facing mostly the rest of their life in prison for a crime they did not do. And we tried that case, and we got a not guilty verdict, which was the right thing under those circumstances. But it taught me a lot and brought that experience with me to the DA's office.
But it's also at what cost, because you're going against an endless checkbook, and the defendant doesn't have an endless checkbook.
Well, I can guarantee you we do not have an endless checkbook in our office.
If you want to test, you can afford to test.
If you've seen our technology, you would know for sure that we do not have an endless checkbook.
Yeah. I still don't want to take it on.
And, we're the smallest district in the state. We only have 5 assistant district attorneys and have remained the smallest district in the state since 2007.
Why?
Well, our positions are allocated by the General Assembly, and every year I go to them and beg them for more assistant DAs. Because
Isn't that getting ready to change, though?
They're getting ready to change in 2020. Yeah. And how that change will be where we take in another county, actually how they've allocated the assistant district attorneys for that will be a net loss of 1 ADA.
But you'll be covering 2 counties.
Be covering 2 counties, but the way they've allocated the ADAs for those 2 counties will be the equivalent of a loss of 1 ADA.
Mm-hmm. Who can fix that? I know I'm putting you on the spot. Who can fix it?
Well, our representatives and senators. So it's Jamie Bowles, Alan McNeil, and Tom McInnes. And every time I see them, I ask them for additional resources.
Aware of this?
They're aware of this.
Okay.
Are they doing anything? No. I'll answer it for you. No.
I cannot let you out of here without asking you about the biggest event that we've had in Moore County probably since Moore County has been around, and that was the nursing home shootings. Were you involved in that?
Yes.
Remind me how many people were shot?
Killed. Well, a total of 11 people were killed, and we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of it. And it's one of those moments in life where you remember exactly where you were when it happened, exactly what time, and I'm just going to go back to that moment, if you don't mind, because I was with other law enforcement officers. We were getting ready to teach a gang class at a church, and we got a call. The call we got was actually that an officer had been shot. And so initially we were not aware about the nursing home and what had happened inside, just the officer had been shot. So I went immediately to the hospital to be with the officer. That's Justin Garner, who turned out to be the hero in every possible way and deserves that moniker. So went from there, checked on Justin, and discovered what had happened at the nursing home and went directly to the nursing home after that.
Might point out that Justin, when he heard the gunshots, went toward the gunshots. He didn't cower outside the building behind some armor waiting for the guy to come out. He went in and saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, Justin absolutely did everything right that day, and was a model for law enforcement, no question. Saved a lot of lives. He did.
So what did you find when you entered the nursing home? What are some of your recollections? And I want to say, this is bringing up bad memories for people, and I'm so sorry. Yeah. I do understand that it's a terrible thing to talk about, but I would really like for folks to get an understanding of what happened that day, so please go ahead.
Well, the folks that could have been taken care of had been taken to the hospital, and so there were a lot of the victims were still remaining where they were. And I remember going through the nursing home with law enforcement and just thinking about these folks and their family and how their lives were going to change forever for what had happened that day. And everyone in the building was still in shock. Law enforcement came in, they took command right away of the scene, and we spent a lot of time, working with the families after that. And that was my primary focus in the very beginning, was trying to meet with everyone and explain to them what was happening.
I take it that had to involve an enormous amount of forensics collection and picture taking, and who handled all that?
Actually, the Sheriff's Department handled that. They did an incredible job. They had some assistance from other departments. One of the things that I remember seeing when I got there was virtually every department in the county came in for assistance. All the small departments, they sent someone, they were standing guard, they were assisting in some way, and there was no us versus them. Everybody in law enforcement was there to help and did.
What did he receive as a result of that, the shooter, and were you happy with that?
No. Well, the first thing that made me unhappy was I was unable to try the case myself. We discovered that I had a professional conflict of interest in the case and that I couldn't try the case. And because there are so few people who were willing to take on the case, it was agreed that we could keep the case in the office as long as I was shut out from everything. So we put up a wall, so to speak, between me and the case from that point on. So he got convicted of...
Which ADA tried that?
There were two ADAs that tried it, but Peter Strickland was the lead ADA on that case. And it ended up being tried with a jury from Stanley County. They were bussed in every day. And he received... he was ultimately only convicted of second-degree murder for each one of those counts and some other things. And he got 179 years active sentence in prison. All of his sentences were run consecutive.
So now, is that one of these situations where a guy can serve 6 months and get out for good behavior? Are we going to be stuck with something like that?
No, he definitely doesn't fall under those circumstances. Let me say one thing. He deserved the death penalty. This was a death penalty case. He deserved to get the death penalty. It's disappointing that he did not. If anyone had deserved it, it's him, for how he slaughtered these helpless people who were, in the last stages of their life, some of which were unaware of what was going on. And you could not have picked a more innocent victim to go after. So if anybody deserved the death penalty, this guy did, no question. The 179 years, obviously he's not going to live that long to serve all of that. But because the judge fashioned these as consecutive sentences, there's functionally no way that he can get out of prison.
Well, let me assure everyone that if he does get out in 179 years, I'll be there to meet him. Okay. I got to ask you, we're running out of time, but I want you to talk a minute about what I believe is one of the most misunderstood two words that we've got in our English language now: human trafficking. Not to be confused with the lady decides that she wants to make some money. Human trafficking. And we're not going to have a lot of time, but can you just freelance it for just a second and talk to us about it?
So human trafficking is the forced sex work, either forced by coercion, fraud, or physical violence, or it is any kind of sex act for money with a minor.
It's always a minor.
No, you can have someone over the age of 18. If they're forced, fraud, physical coercion, then it's trafficking, because they're not freely engaging in that commodity of their own will. If it's a minor, the sex act, a commercial sex act, is always human trafficking because of their age.
Okay.
North Carolina, I think, ranks about 8th in the country for incidences of human trafficking.
So if a father traffics a child, that's human trafficking.
Mm-hmm.
If a pimp traffics an adult, is that still human trafficking if he coerces her and forces her either through drugs or payoffs or something?
Right, through fraud, force, coercion, physical force.
I would like to ask you a question now that you may not know the answer to, but it's bothered me since my early days of being a cop. I always thought we could end prostitution, and in this case, human trafficking, simply by taking pictures of the men and putting them in the newspaper. I don't see how this could continue much longer if we were to do that. Has anyone ever thought of that, or is that just a ridiculous idea?
I think it's a terrific idea. not sure about all the legal parameters of it, but everything else being said, I agree with that, because there would not be a human traffic. There would not be a child. You're talking children who are victimized if there was not some man out there to buy that sex. So if you stop the marketplace, then you stop the victimization.
Well, if there's anything I learned from hearing you talk earlier, it's that the penalties are set by our legislature.
Correct.
And they're only human. They can only do so much. They make mistakes. But can some of these penalties, in your estimation, we don't expect you to be the Supreme Court justice to decide all, but in your estimation, from your experience, if some of these penalties were indeed higher, you think that would stop some of this foolishness if they were higher for the men who hired these women?
Oh, absolutely.
And so what do we do as citizens? How do we make this happen?
You can directly contact any of your representatives, tell them what your concerns are, and you can work with groups like Friend to Friend, which is our local domestic violence shelter, is also our partner in our human trafficking awareness, that they have a voice. They have a very loud voice in this, and I think the General Assembly will listen to them.
Friend of Friends.
Friend to Friend.
Friend to Friends. Mm-hmm. Okay, I hope you'll remember that, and I hope it's not like usually two people will do something. Friend to Friends. Before we close, Steve has let me know we only have a couple of minutes. I would like to say a word about Rusty Disney, the man who helped us so much last year in getting homeless people off the streets and these freezing, terrible, horrible weather systems that we're seeing. Rusty's down to no legs now, and he's still trying to do the best he can. If you are interested in getting together, and we need to do something very quickly, last year, Steve helped, Maureen helped, I helped, several people helped, and my mind's going blank. You can use my cell phone number, 910-783-5264. We'll meet somewhere initially. We'll try to come up with a battle plan and see if we can get these folks in somewhere temporarily. I'm not going to ask you for money. We may, I believe we've got money, and I believe we've got blankets and coats and things like that, but we're going to need people to go find them and assure them and try to figure out where we can put them. So that's the kind of thing that we're going to need help with, and God bless Rusty. He's a good man, and he's been out doing things for many, many years, and I hope you'll pray for him too. What can someone expect, Maureen, if they get a jury summons?
Well, talk about something that strikes fear in the heart of men. Getting that jury summons in the mail is one of them. First thing that they can expect is that they're going to be put on what we call telephone standby. They'll be given a telephone number to call the first day of their jury service. And then they'll give instructions when they should show up, and they come to court. They should be relaxed. There's nothing special about being a juror. We ask everyone just to bring their common everyday sense to the room, use their common sense of judging right and wrong, which is what we do on a daily basis.
But while they're waiting to go on the jury, can they bring a book or a...
Yes, they can bring a book, but no cell phones, no electronics.
No electronics.
Yeah, so sometimes there's a lot of waiting involved. When we actually get into the jury selection process, jurors have told me that they find it a little boring, that we tend to repeat the same questions over and over. Well, we try not to embarrass anybody, but we got to find out a little bit about the people who will be serving on the jury and see if we can get a good group of 12 people that will just be fair to both sides. That's all we're looking for.
Well, it seems just from...
I could simplify it. If your defendant is named Steve Adams, just is an innocent verdict, and we're done.
Let it go. It seems as though you've said all morning that if you come to court, even though it is an adversarial situation, you'll be treated with great respect for the most part. There are people listening right now who are slamming their radios down saying, that's not right, I got treated like dirt. But for the most part, I think, do people leave there feeling like they've been treated fairly?
Well, I hope they do, because that's our goal, that everyone that steps into the courtroom, everyone without their defendant, a victim, a witness, has been treated fairly. They've had the opportunity to have a day in court. They've had access to the people they need to talk to. And that's all we want for them.
And you are there, you're telling us, you are there for the people. They're your customers.
Yeah.
And so they can approach you.
Yes.
And call your office if they have questions?
They can call our office if they've got questions, if they're concerned about what's going on.
No matter who they are.
No matter
Is that correct?
Who they're now. If they're a defendant and they have an attorney, we're not allowed to talk to them.
I'm talking about their socioeconomic status.
Oh,
you don't.
Absolutely. Anybody come in. Doesn't matter who they are, what they are, socioeconomic status. The district attorney's office belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to me.
Okay. Well, we thank you very much, Maureen, for joining us, Madam District Attorney.
Thank you.
I appreciate you being so candid with us, and I hope you have a good rest of the freezing cold morning.
Thank you, too.
Maureen, we appreciate you coming in and sharing that vast knowledge that you always have, and we always wish you the best in carrying out the people's business here.
Thank you, too.
All right, for the rest of you, so it goes for this, what is this, Wednesday hump day. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9 for a thumping Thursday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you hear on our airways because they are the backbone of our economy here in Moore County. Your money will stay here, roll over, and create jobs for all of us. About 63% of your money stays here when you spend it here. And don't forget, millions of Americans have fought and died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and the Leader Man and Nick and Colt the dog will all see you at the Chili Dog Park this afternoon at 2.